Everybody, I just want to do a video on our research and our search for the next stage up car seat for our daughter. We've been toying with loads of different ideas, loads of different car seats, brands, places to buy from, prices, bases, literally everything. We've tried to research as much as we can. Basically, I will say now, we have a budget. We have a budget of around about £150, give or take, like £20. And currently we have the infant Maxi Cosi Cabria Fix, which has done us just fine. We just wanted to have a look what was out there basically and get the best that we could afford in our price range that would be the safest for Matilda. We went to like Toys R Us, Mothercare, Halfords. We looked at various ones. We decided we really liked the Joey. I think that's how you say it. I don't know. I think it's a French brand. I don't know if I'm saying it wrong, but I'll call it that. The Joey, that brand, the one that was called Stages, which is group 1, 2 and 3 car seat. I think it's up to 7 years. So we looked at that, we felt the like sturdiness of it, we tried it out, we really liked it, it looked really comfortable, and that was rear facing up until 18 kilos, which is about 4 years old. We loved it, so that was perfect for us. It was also a belted base, like a belted seat, so you didn't need an Isofix base for it. Because we don't have that and we can't afford that really, and we just didn't want to do that. We decided that we were going to just use the seat belt. So we loved it, but I didn't want to purchase it until we'd looked at reviews and checked out basically tests and things online. So when I got home that night, we looked on the internet and we found that it was recalled last year. So it was recalled in 2013 due to something to do with the harness, which was okay because things like that happen. It was obviously then made better and they will probably be more vigilant with their checks. However, then we signed up to Which. We subscribed for like a month for £1 or something. Which is like a supposed to be an impartial website for loads of different things. And child car seats are on there. So we looked at it on there and it came back as the rear facing without like the Isofix base, it being like less than average, with side impact safety in the car. If you were to be unfortunately involved in a collision, the side impact would be not sufficient. So it put us off straight away. And even though like I've contacted Zoe, my partner and me really think that if you've been told no, like by a supposed impartial service, you're probably best not to tempt fate. So we have left that there and we are not going to get that one. However, it does seem a really sturdy car seat, but obviously in the test it's not quite reached standards. We reviewed a few on Which, but it doesn't have every car seat, it doesn't have every brand, it doesn't have every selection of car seats within one brand. It has like a few, and a few of them are do not buy, like don't buy that, you will be in great danger if you buy that. That's what Which is like. We have decided that we will either be buying a Britax or a Maxi Cosi car seat. We've looked at non-branded ones and we've looked at reviews and things like recalls, and we've just decided that keeping it either Maxi Cosi or Britax would be the best option for us as a family. We have searched so many shops now, ones where you can't get advice, ones where you can, so places like Argos where you can just pick it off the shelf, get it in your car, fit it yourself and be done with it. But we decided to go to Halfords and speak to one of the advisors there, and let me just say they were really helpful. This guy was really helpful, and I'm so glad with that we now asked for his help. And basically, we were asking him what he's been told research and training wise, and obviously the extended rear facing is coming into the UK very slowly. In the US, you have to, I think it's law now, you have to rear face your child up to 2 years of age. And I think in other European countries, I don't know any off the top of my head, but in other European countries it's till 4 years old, extended rear facing till 4 years old, and it's supposed to be 80% safer for your child due to the impact on their neck, depending on which way they are and which side the car you have the chance of colliding with, where that's coming from. So yeah, it's been proven that it's safer. However, in the UK there are still no laws to rear face your child after something like 9 months. I think it's £20. You can forward face from £20 or 9 months old. It's just the way these laws are. So there are a few car seats which have been brought out which comply with certain standards, but they still only comply with British standards. So it's not an actual law for you to rear face your child till 2 or 4, but there are car seats now being made in the UK which say they meet those standards of rear facing till 2 and 4. But I don't believe that we have the research involved in our country. I think it's just been brought from other sources from other countries. So yeah, we don't really know that much about rear facing, extended rear facing, but we know that some research has been done and it is safer. So we did decide that we were going to rear face for as long as possible, and we have now come to the conclusion that without £250 plus, we aren't going to be able to do that because we don't have the ISOFIX space. Well, and we cannot afford to spend £300 on the car seat and the ISOFIX base. And also, this Halfords guy was telling us all about these ISOFIX spaces and that they are good because it prevents people from putting their child's car seat into the car wrong and making it even less safe. He said to us that a cheaper car seat fitted correctly is better than an expensive car seat fitted wrong, obviously. So, and also he said that they'd invited lots of people, lots of parents to come and just check that their car seats were belted properly, and he said like the majority, he was like gobsmacked with the majority of people having fitted their car seat wrong, mainly with the belts. They are safe with belts if they are fitted correctly. So then we went on to say, which one would you recommend? And he said taking the Zoe Stages one out of it because they don't know that much about it, and it is their only car seat they sell that goes from birth to 4 rear facing. They haven't had enough training on that because it's not law, so the main training they have at the moment is on the others. So he would only give us major advice on the others because he didn't want to give us false like advice and put us in danger. Or our child in danger, sorry. So he said that there are a few he would recommend and a few he just wouldn't, there's no point in even going into. And the one he recommended was the Maxi-Cosi Toby. He also said the Maxi-Cosi Priory is one of their safest when it's on the ISOFIX base. However, the buckles are still not on the Toby one. They've not been upgraded almost, which is really odd. He says, but it is still, as long as you fit that correctly, it is still one of the safest ones they do. But it's not, they've not changed the buckles, which I'll explain in a moment briefly. So basically, he said, sorry, I'm looking, I've got a few notes. Basically said that the Maxi-Cosi Toby was the one he would recommend. It does not rear face though. It's not a rear facing car seat. But what he did say to us is that we should, in his opinion, for safety reasons, we should leave our daughter, who is almost 9 months old and almost £20, to leave her in there until she's 13 kilos, which is £29. So till she's about 1 or over 1 is the average. Because those car seats are made to rear face, not only that, they are made for infants when they are most fragile. Obviously children are fragile up to a certain age, of course, but the infant car seats are made for infants and the safety of infants. He said we could put her into a forward facing or even a rear facing one now, which would be a bigger car seat, which would see her up to being 4. However, they are not made for infants. They are not made solely for the safety of infants. They are made mainly for the safety of the older child, because the child spends longer in that car seat as an older child than they do as an infant, despite there being more risk as an infant. So he said the best thing to do for our safety, he was really honest and really helpful, the best thing to do for the safety of our child is to keep her in there until she reaches their maximum limit, and as long as her head's not reaching above it and she's not overly uncomfortable with her head and whatnot, leave her in there until she's £29. Then go and buy a car seat, because that way she fits directly into it. He said don't worry about the space. It seems there's not much space for them to remove. That is obviously, research has been done, that is safer for your child. I didn't really even think of any of these things. It was more just convenience, because she was getting heavy to pull her out of the car seat. But he also made the point that you don't have to take that car seat out just because it does come out easily. You don't have to take it out, but it just is tempting when they're asleep not to wake them up. But that's a habit we can get out of. So yeah, basically that's as far as we've got with it, and we have decided that providing we don't have any more money to the time when we're going to purchase it, we were going to purchase it now, but now he said that we're probably just going to leave it. But basically, unless we have more money, then we won't be spending £300 odd on a car seat which rear faces, because the main car seats which rear face do need a base, and that's not all of them, like at all. That's not all of them. There are very, very few that rear face that are even recommended on which, and I just think that's because there's not been enough research done on this rear facing in the UK for them to sell things at a certain price. So we were also looking at whether we should get something imported from one of the European countries who do rear face and see if that would work, whether it would fit up with our regulations. I do not know. I would have to look way more into that. So that was another option we had. But if not, we will be going for the Maxi-Cosi Toby. It's I can't remember what he called it, but basically if the buckles are unclipped, they stay upwards, and the little clippy thing stays back. When you clip the harness in, it will tell you when it's tight enough. So he also said, like, one of the problems with it, with car seats in general, is that people don't put their children in tight enough because they feel it's too tight, but they are supposed to be tight. That is the point of them. So there's a little green, like, clip, basically, that tells you, and it clicks and it turns green when you have put your child into the, like, to fit them properly. It can't... it's like this thing that's not that flexible at the top of the harness. There's some material that's not that flexible at the top of the harness that prevents you from being able to put it at the wrong height. Also, despite it being a belted car seat, it's very, very sturdy. So the belt, instead of going around the back, doesn't go around the back, it goes around the front of the car seat, up over it. It clicks into 2 separate bits, and then you pull like a lever and it clicks it in place, and it's so sturdy. You can't even shake it, not even a little bit. So it's very, very safe. He also said we asked about Isofix and whether he would recommend it being safer, if he thinks it is safer, if their training says this is safer, and he said it's great because it's safer because it prevents people from fitting their car seats wrong, and that is one of the major problems with car seats, is that people fit them wrong. So it prevents that. He says you can't really fit an Isofix based car seat wrong because it clicks in and it tells you when it's done. I think she'll benefit developmentally from being forward facing, but obviously if we were very unfortunate and did have a car crash, she would benefit more from being rear faced. So I'm still in a little bit of an inner battle with myself, like, do I or don't I rear face? But for what we can afford and the safety aspects of it, there aren't enough car seats that say belted wise, we would probably have to buy a base and have a rear facing car seat, which would end up costing about £300, and we just don't have that kind of money. So I think if a law does come into place soon in the UK, even if it's up to 2 years, that they bring the cost down of their car seats, which can be rear faced. That is basically our car seat search, our conclusions we've come to alone, and our conclusions we've come to as an informed decision from an expert, so to speak, in Halfords. If anybody has any advice or questions, then feel free to post below. I'd be happy to hear your stories with your car seats and whether you rear face, whether you plan to extended rear face, or whether you just plan to forward face, and your decisions surrounding it. And I think that is everything. So I will show you a picture actually of the Maxi Cosi Toby. The harness fits in. And this headrest moves up really easily so that you can adjust it to the size of your child. And then when it's unbelted, you can see there that that comes back and they go back and they can't go anywhere else. Easy, really easy to get your child in. And it reclines too. So yeah, that's that. Thanks for watching. Bye.